Shri Suresh Prabhu ji, only 2 minutes. Suresh Prabhu ji, 2 minutes.
Sir, the personal law of any community was considered to be an issue which should not be dabbled in by the state for a long time. As a consequence, some section of society had to suffer in the hands of those who were actually making such rules. And therefore we have seen that for a pretty long time the women have not been getting rights in the property on the ground that a personal law of a particular community did not allow them to enjoy the benefits of that right. Hindu religion and Hindu society have got several personal laws. There is Mitakshara school of law, school by which people live, there is Daya Bhaga and many others. As a result of that, each school of thought and each society govern themselves by this own personal law. This is one step forward in ensuring that despite conforming to different systems, we are going to enjoy the rights, equal rights to all the women when a particular person dies intestate. The same way, my friend was just now saying that probably we should also bring an amendment to Hindu Succession Act. But Hindu Succession Act and the personal law, the major difference is that if a person makes a will and Hindu Succession Act, and if he dies, after that, of course, his own property, he has the right to dispose it off in a manner in which he does it. Of course, it's an ancestral property. He, of course, will be governed by, as my friend was saying. So there's a very interesting concept in Hindu law which defines partition as not something which has to be physically carried out. You don't have to say that this is my property and this is his property and this particular room belongs to him and it belongs to somebody else. The concept of partition actually essentially bears fruits in mind. Even if I think that this is not a hodgepodge property, Hindu hodgepodge property, common property, but it belongs to me, the very thought that comes into my mind is actually recognized as a partition under the Hindu law because the very thought itself gives rise to that. Having got such an enlightened idea into a personal law, I think it was properly improper and an aberration not to confer laws to those, not to confer property to those who actually are born in a society and only because they are not born as a particular gender that they should be discriminated against. And therefore such noble and such laudable ideas should not have been probably be subjected to such aberrations which now is being corrected. Sir, I would like to remind the Honorable Minister that in India there is a state which is part of the Union called State of Goa. That state has a very unique system. There are people living in that state are Muslims, the people living in that state are Christians, the people living in that state are Hindus, and they may be belonging to any school of thought, Mitakshara, Daya Bhaga or any other. Despite that, the succession and the property division takes place according to a common law, which I am sure the Honorable Minister is aware of. That's right. And therefore, I think we should move towards a one state which has taken such a progressive step. And so the provisions of that law, that women get inherent right in the property if they were the citizens of Goa. Why that right should not be conferred on all the citizens of the country is something which should be debated about. And I'm sure the Honorable Minister, while bringing about a recommendation of the Law Commission, as well as bringing in uniformity in such application, would also make sure that a state which is so progressive, why the others should not follow suit. And I'm sure the government, and I'm very conscious of the fact that Mr. Bharadwaj is a very forward-looking law minister who, despite being born into a very traditional family, so I'm sure that he will certainly look into making break from the past and taking a very forward step in ensuring that this really happens. Sir, I would like to just add one final point, sir. Sir, when we make such laws, and this is the general point that I always agitates my mind. So we think now we are given enough right to the women by making a law here. But so on the ground, the reality is totally different. The minister would know that a law is a statute which is passed by the parliament, but implemented and executed in various courts. So therefore, in the courts, how much time a normal woman would take to get justice, I'm sure the minister would really know. So I was thinking about reforming the judicial administration system whereby such laws which are made, well-intended legislation which are actually put on the statute book, will finally reach our target group, and therefore they will really get the right. Otherwise, there are various states which are now saying that if you want to probate a will, or even if you want to challenge, you want to incur property, the amount of stamp duty that one has to pay is so exorbitant that I am sure you will also think about bringing a legislation to ensure that a constitution, such areas wherein you actually are claiming right in the property, should not be subjected to such inhibitions which will not allow the people to claim the property. And also, while doing that, the land records of the state are in such a messy state that probably to even confer the right, it will be very difficult because you are not able to get the right of the person who is actually established. So therefore, these are the also relevant and measures which should really need to be taken. Also, the last final point, and that point I think he should be able to do. Sir, in a dwelling place wherein a family resides, and there is only one dwelling place for the family, and a daughter is already married, what type of right that daughter should get in the dwelling house, whether he can demand partition and should have to be sold the property, or there should be some methodology which should be really developed, whereby the value of that property can be given, but the property need not be sold, because otherwise you are displacing the family which is already living there. I think this is also point. This is what the persons who are dwelling in that property. I think this is an issue that we should deal with. Thank you.
Thank you. Shri